One of my first ships out of New Orleans in '64, it was the SS Columbia. We were headed for India, and I ended up on her as an ordinary seaman. I caught her up in Desterham, Louisiana, on the Mississippi River. They were loading her with grain. And my first feeling was, boy, do I really want to do this? That was kind of ironic. Anyhow, the first thing I had to do is go tighten up all the butterwork plates, things of this nature with a wrench, a brass wrench, and I'm out there screwing the deck, and this at 8 o'clock at night. I happened to be on the 8 to 12 too, so watch, that was my duty. And of course I had sanitary too. That means I had to take care of forecastle, so I was really scared and nervous because I didn't know what that job curtailed either. So, but you live and learn, and I assumed I'd be taught what to do. And behind us was another T2, and her name, it was Niagara. And apparently the crew on board her were bitching. They had the Coast Guard down there when I was there. And apparently what I heard on the scuttlebutt on our ship was that she was not seaworthy. And they were asking the Coast Guard to come down and inspect it. They didn't think this ship was worth sailing anymore. These old World War II tankers, and she's 20, 30 years old. I don't know her age, but anyhow, they came down and they cleared it. So we left anyhow ahead of her, and we were headed for Kandla, India. And the way over, by the way, I got seasick as hell as soon as we got out of the Mississippi River. In fact, I was stowing lines down below there, and I had to throw up so bad I ran back to my forecastle, throwing up on the way, and fell out on the deck. Didn't tell the bosun, and boy, was he pissed. But I was so sick he could have thrown me overboard. I'd been grateful. So anyhow, they made fun of me being a seasick sailor, but I had defenders too. I had guys from World War II that were out there that remember them getting sick on their first trip out too. So once I got my sea legs, I'd be all right. The bosun told me not to ever do that again, and of course I said no, I wouldn't. I couldn't stand up anymore. So on the way over, we had a messman get appendicitis. We were about 2 days out of the med, and we were ice packing him. I used to take turns and watch, making sure he had ice on his guts, I guess, so he wouldn't burst. The appendix wouldn't burst. So we made it to Gibraltar, dropped him off, and we made it to Port Said. Going through the canal was an adventure in itself. The boatman had to be on board going down there, and with in case something happened, we had to tie up along the way in the canal. So they carried their little launches on board our ship. And on the way down, old Bobby, this one of these, I don't know if he was a wiper. I think he was a wiper in the engine room. And he got in trouble with some of them because he was out there making fun of them because they're Muslims, I guess, and almost ended up in the damn mutiny in a fight on the ship. It was the damnedest thing. This guy was just a shit disturber from day one. Yeah, we got to Kandla, India, and going in there, and I told another sea story about that adventure there at Kandla. And you can go look at it. I can't remember what I called it, but it's another sea story about Kandla, India. We left Kandla, India, and went back, and that's when we saw the damn meteor or UFO or whatever it was out there in the Arabian Sea going into Aden. We were going into Aden. Went back through the canal and into the Med. And just as we left the Med, we were just south of the Azores. We got an SOS. The seas were rough up there where we were, and apparently a ship was breaking apart. And Sparks came down and told us that it was the Niagara she was breaking up. And the only thing I could think of is, hell, that thing's falling apart, because I've heard they told me if they aren't strapped, they could break apart. So we headed down towards her, and she was south of us about I don't know, not about a day's trip down there. Yeah, 'cause it was at evening when we got there, and we didn't see her till the next day at noon. And we came upon her, and I mean, we were in seas 30 to 40 foot high. We were diving in and out. The screws coming out of the water, shaking us to death. And looking over at her, she was spouting water out the port side in front of the aft housing, the number 9 tank. In fact, the wing tank plate had apparently come off. We were on her starboard side, broadside of her starboard, and she was blowing water out that side over there. It looked like a damn whale. And I could see the messmen and all some of the crew on the back of the fantail, and they looked like they're in panic. They're going up and down as bad as we were. They'd disappear every now and then in the valleys of the sea. And we'd be up on top looking way over and down on them, and they'd be up on top looking down on us. And it was it was some heavy seas. I didn't know how we were going to get them aboard. And someone went up and dug up a cargo net on a tanker. That's unusual. You don't have cargo net as far as I know. But anyhow, someone found a cargo net and decided we'd throw it over the side and tie it off. And threw it over the side, and the damn thing would come out of the water 20 to 40 feet. Man, if you grab a hold of that subbitch, all of a sudden you're up in the air. And then all of a sudden, when it goes down, you're even with the well deck. You can walk over and jump up, swim over and jump on the ship, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd have grabbed it if I'd been in the water. But I guess it's better than nothing. So we waited for a while, and they were communicating with us. They don't know how long they're going to last because the engine room was getting scared to go down there. That the personnel, because of the damn noise and the crap and the water rushing in, hitting the coffer dam. That's the dam between the tanks and the engine room. And it's a corrugated looking thing. And boy, the water hit it. It just sounded like a drum, I guess, down there. Some guy had an idea, either a bosun or a deckman, had an idea of weighting a line, throw it over the bow, and let it run down the hull on each side, tie it off on a cable back by the number 9 tank, winch cable, and run and pull the end of it all the way under the hull up onto the deck and reattach it to the deck somewhere, and then put a snatch block on it and draw it up with the draw tension up and pull a plate in with the winch. And they did that, and it worked. Slicker than hell. And so they said they felt secure. They were going to head up the Azores, and we said, well, we'll escort you a little ways and see how you do. And so we all made way, and we were headed north. And the ship, she was doing better time than we were, so about 50 miles up, good day's run up, we decided, well, we'll let you go. You're doing good. You're doing better than us. So we went off and headed for Philadelphia. Went there and paid off and flew down to New Orleans from there. And that was the end of that trip. Thanks for listening. Take care, boys.